Oh, seriously? Grody pond water? Yeah, seriously. So I realized that this looks a little bit um, of a like a nasty floodwater pool in the middle of the park. Yeah, it probably has low water quality. But what I find really neat here is there are critters, some macro invertebrates that have made this place their home. So it might be, subpar water, certainly not drinkable, but it does still harbor life. It harbors life, algae, as well as probably some bacteria that are in the water, could be harmful to us, as well as some of these macro invertebrates. So in your booklet today, on day 2, happy Earth Day, by the way. Hopefully you're working on this on Earth Day. And you go outside and enjoy the fresh air. The chemistry section begins with a little bit of investigation of what's called pH. And you'll read about this in the lab guide. But as you flip through the lab guide, you'll see pH, you'll see some temperature testing, you'll see turbidity, dissolved oxygen, and then looking for macro invertebrates. Okay, so I just mentioned the last one, which is macro invertebrates, and those are critters that you can see with the naked eye. There's a pretty good table of different critters here in your booklet, and if you happen to be near a body of water that you can visit with your parent or guardian while you're working on this, then you could probably do some looking for macro invertebrates. It's kind of fun, really just flipping over some rocks, okay, seeing if you see any critters stuck to the bottom, and if not, then you don't see any critters stuck to the bottom, and that's just fine. But for some of the others, if you don't have pH tabs, then you won't measure the pH. Some folks might have those for a swimming pool or for a fish tank. And if you do have those, then go ahead and use maybe your tap water, or if a stream is nearby, you could also test the pH of that stream, especially on your site. Then turbidity testing, what I'm recommending you to do is to take some of your normal tap water and put it in a clear container, not exactly like this vial, but just some kind of clear container, and see how clear your tap water is. So if you can read a paper through the tap water, then that's certainly under 1,000 NTUs of turbidity. Now, use some of the soil that you collected last week, or some of the dirt, and go ahead and start slowly putting it in and mixing it in until you can't read through the water anymore. And at that point, you are over about 10,000 NTUs. So what I'd like you to do is to use your booklet to see how long could a fish survive in that type of muddy water, in that type of habitat, in weeks or months. Okay, and then let's also talk about the dissolved oxygen test. So I'm holding this vial, which is the exact vial that's going to go out to your outdoor school with your teachers, and each class will be able to harvest a sample from the Owyhee River and bring that back to the classroom. They'll actually cover it with tin foil to keep the sun away from it. And then in a few days, following the directions that your teacher has in the kit, you will be able to run the test in class. And you can all write down together what the dissolved oxygen content is of that part of the Owyhee. Okay, and then this last one brings me to temperature. Temperature isn't last in the booklet, but I mention it last now because dissolved oxygen and temperature are very closely related. Water that is not able to hold dissolved oxygen then won't allow that oxygen to be used by the fish. So certain fish species have a certain range of temperatures in which they prefer, and it's not really because they get cold or they get hot, it's really because of the amount of dissolved oxygen that can be in the stream at that temperature range. So that's a little bit on your water chemistry labs. Enjoy, thinking about the chemistry of the water and some of the things that we can test, as water is a crucial material for life. Water is life. There's a lot of things that live in water, yes, but even us, even animals that live outside of the water, water is, of course, essential to our metabolism. It's essential to our bodily functions, and you've probably heard it, that we are made up of close to 70% water overall. So have fun investigating part 1, some water chemistry.